Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at a very heavy clicky switch, the Kailh Box Navy. Let's get started. Now, the Kailh Box Navy was released alongside the Kailh Box Jade with the idea of offering a heavier and a more tactile clicky switch. So, what makes the Box Navy heavier? Well, it features the same spring present on the Pale Blue plus a thicker click bar. This results in a very heavy but also very sharp tactile switch when compared to the Pale Blue. In fact, I don't know of any clicky switch heavier than these. Now, pricing wise, these are $12.24 for 36 switches on NovelKeys' website, so they're very affordable. And this is what they look like when disassembled. Feel free to pause the video. Now, let's move on to the switch categories. On-center key presses are ultra smooth with zero scratchiness or inconsistencies. Off-center key presses do show minor inconsistencies at very slow key presses, but I suspect this is something most people wouldn't be able to detect. Overall, this is by far the smoothest click bar switch I've ever used, 8 out of 10. Now, according to NovelKeys, these switches have an actuation force of 75 grams at 1.8 millimeters, a peak tactile force of 90 grams, and a bottom out force of 90 grams at 3.6 millimeters. And yes, the feel is very heavy, but it does have a very sharp and satisfying tactile event. Although it is still heavy, which clearly isn't for everyone, not even for me, so take that into account. Additionally, these were also very consistent across the board, which I don't usually see with heavier switches, so that's at least very nice to see. Overall, they aren't for me, but if you're looking for a heavy, clicky switch that isn't the Cherry MX Green, these should be on your list. 6 out of 10. Now, sound is pretty straightforward. These are louder and I'd say a bit deeper sounding than thin bar switches like the Box White. But they do still sound better than click jackets, so no need to worry there. Overall, it's a nice sounding switch that I really like. 7 out of 10. Now, take a listen and enjoy. Now, typing is where this switch really shines. I mean, that's what it's built to do. Firstly, I will say again that this switch is really heavy and is something you should take into account before buying them. Otherwise, you may end up not enjoying them that much. Secondly, due to its weighting, I was really only able to use this for around 2 hours or so before my fingers started to slow down and cause typos. But I'd still rather take this than any other light linear switch any day of the week. Seriously. However, weighting aside, I did enjoy typing on this switch. That sharp tactility is just so satisfying. Man, I wish this existed in a lighter switch. That would be my dream switch, I think. Overall, whilst this isn't for me, this is a great clicky switch and should be a template of all clicky switch designs in my opinion. 7 out of 10. Now, gaming with a clicky switch already isn't ideal for some, but gaming with a heavy clicky switch probably isn't in most people's dream gaming setup. And I do share some of that myself, as I don't like clicky switches for gaming, even more so a heavy one like this. Now, there's nothing wrong with the performance of this switch for gaming, but it's just not ideal. Firstly, this is quite a loud switch. It pierces through my headphones, which are open back, and it's annoying. Especially when playing stealth games, I wouldn't recommend these. Secondly, I could only get around 2 hours of gameplay before my fingers started to get tired. So if you're someone who plays longer sessions, again, take the weighting into account. Now, other than those two, this switch performs really well for gaming, it's satisfying to use and the sharp tactility is beautifully perfect. But it's obvious it's not designed for gaming. Overall, if you really wanted to, you can use this as a gaming switch for sure, but there are better options out there. 6 out of 10. In conclusion, if you're a typist looking for a heavy clicky switch and an ultra satisfying tactile feel, buy these. Seriously, buy these switches. The final score for this switch is 34 out of 50 or 68%, tying it with the Kailh Box White. And that's the end of the review. Next time I'll be looking at the Kailh Box Jade. I mean, I have to now, don't I? Until then, take care and goodbye.